Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, first off, apologies for the ever so slightly clickbaity title to this video, but hey, you've got to have some fun sometimes, and it might help in the algorithms and actually get more views on this. You never know. But anyway, I do actually, in fact, have here a £2,000 Cartier wristwatch. Okay, here's the thing. This thing isn't worth £2,000. Well, not anymore anyway. This belongs to a friend of mine, and this was actually his retirement gift, I believe. So it's a fair few years old, but it's not a vintage watch or anything like that. But we do have here a Cartier gents wristwatch. Now, this watch basically, I think it's probably around about 20 years old or thereabouts. So it's not a fancy movement or anything. It's just a quartz movement inside. You know, it's not a fancy Swiss, you know, auto wine movement or anything like that. But it's still a very, very nice wristwatch, and it does have some, you know, obvious sentimental value to him and what have you. And it's already been repaired once in the past. This is what really makes this watch pretty much beyond economic repair now. It's nothing actually wrong with the movement or anything. This watch works perfectly. It keeps perfect time. In fact, it's keeping the perfect time that I'm making this video now. It's already had that adjuster there replaced once because it got pulled out. Now, believe it or not, this had to be sent away to Cartier just to have that winder changed there, and I think it cost around about £1,000 just to have that replaced. Now, this is what makes this watch beyond really economic repair. What's wrong with it now? And this is just basically through the fact that this thing's been loved and worn for, like I said, probably the best part of 20 years. And that's this. That's basically what's wrong with the watch. We have a look here. The metal has actually just, over the years, just worn through. So that should be a solid round loop there with that axle through it to actually secure the strap in place. And it has literally just worn through over the years. Now, I suppose a proper jeweler could repair this, but it would cost literally more than the watch is worth really to repair this properly. So my friend said, was there any chance I could have a go and see if I could possibly repair this for him so he can, you know, still wear the watch if he wants to. So I was having a think about it, and what I come up with is, can I make a little sleeve which we can fit in there and solder in place and just basically dress the metalwork round again, make it smooth again, so we've actually got something there that can then hold on to. Now, this is a gold watch, but it's gold plate. You can see here through the wear where it's actually the gold plate has worn away, and I'm guessing the underlying metal, with this being, you know, obviously a high quality watch, is probably silver. So I should be able to solder to silver. First thing I'll have to do is really clean basically all the dross and all the muck around here, get it as clean as I possibly can, and then I can look for something that we can make a sleeve to actually go in there. So what I'll do to start with, I'll get the rest of the strap off, so we're just working with this. It'll make it a little bit easier, and we can actually inspect inside there and see what state that's in as well. Let me find some fine screwdrivers, because this is actually screwed in place. There's a screw head on that side and there's a screw head on that side there, so I believe I might even be able to do it with my fingers, I don't know. I'll try and get a screwdriver on it. This is more akin to the type of thing that my mate Vince likes to play about. I think he's really into watches, but I think more on the mechanical side than an actual repair like this. Now, I will say I am not unfamiliar with repairing jewellery. One thing when you're able to solder is you do tend to get asked quite often to do small jewellery repairs. So this wouldn't be my first foray into repairing jewellery. It is my first foray into trying to do something like this though. Is that going to fit that? That's too big. In fact, I think you just have to bear with me a second, folks, and I will try and find a very fine flat blade screwdriver so I can get this off. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, right. Well, I've got the trusty old Aldi precision bits out here, and I think I've found something which fits, or at least should do us. So let's try again getting this strap off. It's basically like a nut on one side and a screw on the other, so I hold that side very gently, I think. Let's see if that's turning on that side. No, it's still locked in place. Let me see if I can get this side. There we go. Oh, it's turning. Basically, it's just a case of turning this little nut off here, I think. Indeed, do we have to unscrew the centre one? A very, very tiny screw in the centre. Which, yes, we can unscrew that. So that's how we do it. Take that tiny little nut out of the centre. Let me grab some tweezers. And put that in there for safekeeping. Now can we unscrew that piece, or does it just come out now? I think we still need, even now need to unscrew a very sophisticated way of holding a strap on. It's slowly unscrewing that now, I think. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely undoing because that's coming looser, I think, now. In fact, do you want to bear with me a second, folks, and when I've got this out here, we'll come right back. So, back in a sec. Yeah, I'd have been there a long time trying to unscrew that then. Once you take that little first screw out, that piece, it just pulls. I was trying to unscrew it and no, it doesn't. You just pull and it pulls out. And we should be able to pull the shaft out of here and actually detach the strap. There we go, that's coming now. We can actually even detect there's quite a lot of wear on that. If we look here, you see where it's worn away in the centre there. Let's get that out of the way. Amazingly, actually, on the watch itself, there's still quite a bit of material there. That doesn't look too bad. It's just this top one here which is completely worn away. So that's. I was worried that when I got it. Let me get you zoomed down a little bit further, shall we? There we go, and then I can bring this into shot like. There we go, that's better, isn't it? Now you can see what we're looking at. Alright, so as we can see, this is the one that's good, that we've just taken the strap off, and there's not that much wear actually in the centre there. That's where this one we can see it's completely gone there, and that is full of muck. So one of the things I am going to have to do is try and clean all the muck and rubbish out of there before we can even attempt to solder a little sleeve in. And that brings me to a sleeve. We're going to have to make a sleeve that will go inside there, which has got it can only have a very thin wall really, but it's got to have an internal diameter that will still allow that pin there to obviously slide through like it does there. So let me have a think and see what I can come up with that we can put in there. So back in a sec. Okay, really sorry guys, I thought I'd hit record and I hadn't done. Right, a quick recap of what I've done. I found something to make the new sleeve out of, and believe it or not, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It's made out of that. Something out of my trash bin. And what I did was I took a piece of the aerial, which was nearly the right size. It's a tiny little bit too wider diameter. I cut a piece of it off. Now it's got a chrome finish on it, so what I did is I put it in my drill there, and I span it with some sandpaper, and I sanded off all the finish. And then I took a little file like that and put it on here, just like I'm showing you now. And I basically cut into it like that round, and I cut myself a little piece off. And then let me get you zoomed down so I can show you what I've done. Ooh, right down. I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking to get you on. There we are. Right, you can see the vise here, and that's the little piece that I cut off. And then what I did was I mounted it upright in there, and I took my file and I very slowly worked at it like that, and I cut a slot on the side there. I don't want to take it back out of this because I've just got it set to cut the piece off that I actually need, but basically I cut a slot down it there, and I've got this held as tight in the vise as I can without deforming that. And what I'm doing now, I'm to take the file, and I've basically took the watch and I've measured off the piece that I need there, plus a tiny little bit which we can use to dress down after. I am just basically working around it like this with the file. I've got to go very, very gently, and this is basically just brass now. Now we've taken that coating off, which is the ideal material really I can see for doing this with. We'll turn it round now. Tighten it back up. And again, we just go in. We're not even going all the way through the metal at this point, we are just making our groove round it. I can see there. And I basically want to get a circle all the way around this, and then I can try and pair it off. Now before I could just snap it off because I had a full circle. Now I've actually cut that slot in it, I don't think it's going to be as easy to do that. So what I'll probably have to do is just keep working around it like this until I've slowly gone through it and we've got the little piece that we need. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll come back when I've gone all the way around this and we've got that little piece there off, so we've got the piece we want to work with. So back in a sec. Right, okay, there we go. There is our little sleeve with its slot. I don't know if you can make that out there, but its slot cut in it there. So what we want to do now, I'll take the pin we took out, we'll put that over there. We can see it's quite a bit bigger than that, so what we want to do is just shrink that down a little bit, so basically that just fits through there. So basically we can close that slot up, that should just go through there even with that slot closed. Look, that just fits through there if you look like that. So that should be just about the right size. The question is, how difficult is it going to be to fit in there, and then just try and tidy that up there a little bit. So let's have a first trial fit. I've still yet to clean up the dross in here, so we'll have to come back out, but there we go, that does actually fit. That will fit in there. I have to get some of this dross out now because it's clogging up my hole, so I can't even see what I'm doing. Just bear with me a second, folks. Let's just clean it over here. Yeah, that will go in there quite nicely. It's not quite through yet, but we'll have to do a little bit of finagling with that. But the thing is, with that in there, will the pin go through? There's nothing to stop us using something in the future. Just once this is soldered in place, just to ream that out. But if we look there, look at that. That goes through just as it's meant to. Right. So what I will have to do now is pull that back out and clean all the metal up round here before I can even look at starting to solder this in place. So we'll push that sleeve that I've made back out. Now we know that it's definitely going to fit and it definitely is going to work. And gently just push him back out of the place like that. That will all need cleaning, but what we need to do is get all the muck and the dross basically out. Actually, that works really well. This is the end of the chrome end of the aisle, the bit that had the little knob on the end, and I had to unscrew that to get it out, to get the piece that we've actually used, which is the next piece down from that. And actually that makes a perfect little file for just scraping all the muck and the dross out from inside here. That works really, really, really well indeed, actually. I can actually see nice shiny silver in there now, because that was really, if you think it's your dead skin and what have you that builds up over the years, it was really looking quite unpleasant in there. That's come up lovely and shiny now. That should actually solder quite nicely. Lovely. That was easier than I was expecting. I was thinking about perhaps having to go in with a little file or something to clean that out, or indeed a drill bit. In fact, I might, if that will fit, I might. That's far too big. We don't want to make that hole any bigger. I might just get in with a little bit of IPA as well. The cotton bud. Can't even get that inside. But it's helping just get some of that grot from round the watch away. There we go. Right. Bring the little repair piece in. Well, it's got a little bit of dross on it from trial fitting it, so let's give that a quick clean. Oops, and not flick it across the room. Right, okay. Now let's have a good clean look at and clean in there. That looks really nice and clean in there now. So what we will do, we'll get the soldering accoutrements down. I've got some, that's empty. I'll get my flux, and I'm going to put a tiny drop of flux inside there. And take our little sleeve. And we want the cut on the sleeve to be basically right at the back of where we've making our repair. That'll be the strongest possible place. So we'll push the sleeve in like that and get that centered, because we can dress this afterwards and make it a nicer fit. We just want it in there for now. Then what I'm going to do, take some pliers, put something a bit smaller than that, and I'm just going to try and get some of that metal that's basically peened over a little bit straighter and a little bit further down. Because obviously there, the metal has puckered out a little bit from when the original shaft has broken through it, so we can get that perhaps just squashed down a tiny touch. Anything that's too bad we can just file back into shape after. There we go. That's a little bit better. That's a bit closer to how it should be. Yeah, that's a lot better. Right. So the moment of truth is soldering that into position. And what I'm going to use, believe it or not, is the thing we all hate, which is lead-free solder. Couple of reasons. One, this is, you know, potentially can be in contact with the skin, and we don't want lead really contacting the skin. Two, this has got a higher melting point, and it's generally just tougher and harder than 4060 lead tin solder. So we will crank the iron as high as it will go actually, which is 480, which should be enough. I'll cut a piece of this off. And we want to be as quick as possible doing this. I suppose I could possibly take the mechanism out, but I'm concerned about doing that because, like I said, I'm not a watch person. I don't want to risk breaking that little adjuster there, especially considering, like I said, when this was last repaired, I think it was close to £1,000 to have that replaced. Now, with the damage it's got, I mean, the only thing that Cartier would do was change the shell, put a new shell and what have you. That's basically most of the watch, and it's probably what the watch would cost if they even do it, or they just say the watch is beyond, beyond economic repair now. Right, this is going to be the moment of truth. I've got a nice hot iron. I'll get the end nice and clean. Now I was considering going with a higher mass tip, but I think I'm going to try with the tip I normally use. That's nice and clean. And we'll tin it up with the lead-free solder, which does not tin as well. And let's see what we can do here. So we'll bring that into contact. You have to give it a bit of time to... There we go. That's starting to take. Okay, I'm going to let that cool down now. Now obviously they've got more solder on there than there was before, but that has actually taken all the way around. What I will do is I will let that cool down, and then I'll just flow some more of that solder But like I said, I want to let the watch, I don't want to, because that's, it's, I mean, I can keep my finger on it, put it that way, but I can feel heat in the watch. No more than you'd have had, say, imagine you'd left this on your dashboard of your car on a sunny day or something like that. It's that kind of warmth, but obviously we don't want it to get too hot. So I'll let that cool down. I might just go in there and just dress some of that solder up. I'll let it cool down again, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at just perhaps finishing that off and tidying it up with the file and what have you. So back in a sec. Apologies, I didn't press record again, but basically I reflowed around there just one more time. This is nice and cool again now. So all I've got to do really now is just dress this with a file and basically make it look more like that one there. Actually on the top it's going to look pretty damn good. All the repair work's going to be on the bottom where you can't see it. So it's literally just a case, I've got a nice flat file here. I'm just very gently taking some of the solder away and just smoothing it round. Obviously the solder is going to be a little bit softer than the silver underneath, but basically it's just a case of very, very gently working it round like this. It isn't going to be absolutely perfect, but I think it's going to be fairly good actually. I don't think you're really going, once the strap's back on and everything, I don't think you're really going to tell that anything's been done. Anyway, I'll carry on doing that for a little bit, and I'll just get that as flat and as round as I possibly can. And then we'll come back and we will see whether indeed, you know, the pin will go through, the strap will go back on and everything, and we'll see how it goes. So back in a sec. Right, okay, and there's the repair after I've just finishing just smoothing it around with a file. You can see the sleeve there, you can just see a little bit of the solder there, but this is the moment of truth. Will the pin go through the new sleeve? A little bit of a tight fit there, but where the watch is actually worn in the centre, that's a perfect fit. Right, well, let's get this out of the way. I'll get you zoomed out a little bit so you can see a little bit more of what's actually going on. Oops, that's the wrong way. Right, okay. Put that away. Put that away. We'll move that, we'll move that. Push this away. Right, lovely. Let's bring the strap back in, because we've got to extract that pin there as well from the strap. So if I hold that there, hopefully this should unscrew like the other one did. So bear with me a second folks while I get this out, and then we'll be right back. Well, that one was certainly more of a pain to get out than the other one, but hopefully now if I get hold of that, that will just pull out like that. We can extract that from there, like that. Right, now this is the moment of truth. Can we get this back together? So that is the repaired section, which is the one that goes in there like that. So we'll put this. Now we have never put this actual pin through the repaired shaft before, because this is the one that's always been in here, but it should fit. Let's see. Go in. Very gently. There we go, and it's through. Lovely. Let's do the other side, and then we can put them bits back on. So this is the one we haven't repaired, but actually it doesn't look bad. Has got a little bit of wear to it, but nowhere near like that one on the top. So we'll pop that back through. Okay, there we go. And you really can't tell that's been repaired. Even if you look on the back, yeah, there's a tiny little bit there, you can just tell a little bit of a solder mark, but really you cannot tell that's been fixed. I'm quite pleased with that. That's quite a neat fix, if I do say so myself. Let's put these back in and put these awkward little screws back in. That drops in there like that, and then that is so small I can barely see it with my eyes, even with my strongest glasses on. There we go, that's in. That's in. One more to go. In fact, you want to see the amount of play in my repaired one there, virtually nothing. That's the amount of play in the one that's still hanging on. So I suppose in the future, if it ever did fail, that one, I could do the same thing and I could put a little sleeve in, like you've just seen, to fix that one as well. There we go. Make sure that that's tight. Well, when I say tight, it's actually fully engaged. Got it. Right, okay, there we are. So that is one repaired Cartier wristwatch. As you can see there, let me get you zoomed down so you can see the repair properly. There we go. Oops, come on, focus. You going to focus? Come on, focus. Let's come out a little touch. There we go. That's better, isn't it? So as you can see the little repair there. There's a tiny little bit of silver showing. That's one reason why I wanted to use a lead-free solder, because that is going to be, you're touching your wrist. So we've just used the lead-free solder, and like I said, it will be a tiny little bit stronger, probably than a leaded solder. And it is literally just there holding that sleeve that we've made, that brass sleeve, in place. So yeah, there we go. I will take this back up to my friend, and hopefully he'll be pleased to get his wristwatch back. So I'll say, hope you enjoyed that. I know it's not something I normally do on the channel, and it's probably not something I'll probably do on the channel again or anything. But so I thought some people might enjoy watching me do something a little bit different. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.